So thank you very much for listening to us and also being here in the audience. This is a very honorable visit by an academic who we know here at SOAS very well, and the presentation fits in very well into the sequence of events that we've had over the past almost 2 years now, which dealt with conflicts, and these conflicts were concentrated in the Ukraine and in Russia, in the border area, but also in the Tigrayan area, Ethiopia. And here we look forward to listening to the experience, research and personal experience at Aksum University as well, by our speaker, who is going to start right now, or in a moment, perhaps after you have said.
Yes, so the bio of Dr. Mewael Berhane is online, but I did want to mention just a brief word. Dr. Mewael Berhane is assistant professor in geography and environmental studies with specialization in socioeconomic planning and environment. He earned his PhD from Addis Ababa University in 2016 and has served in the rank of assistant professor in Adwa Teachers Education College, Kobe University of Education, and Aksum University, Ethiopia. He has also been quite engaged with international initiatives. I will mention a couple, just more recent, under the Erasmus Plus program at the universities of Alexander van Hol, Laurensden University, and the Friedrich Alexander University in the Netherlands and in Germany. So you think you've been an advocate in this time for your university on behalf of the people of Tigray. And thank you so much, and an applause to welcome. And you are being recorded.
I'm Mewael Berhane from Aksum University, Tigray, Ethiopia. I'm a survivor of that deadliest war. So I will try to briefly explain what we experienced during that time. So my my presentation will have major 4 parts. First, I will try to briefly explain about Aksum University, and next the Tigray War, and its effect again on Aksum University as well as on the religion. So the short history of Aksum University. Aksum University is among the 2nd generation, by the way. It is a public institution. It was inaugurated in 2006. It is located in the northern part of Ethiopia. Currently, the university has 4 campuses. Main campus, which was completely looted and destructed. Aksum has referral hospital or campus. Almost 50% of the campus was destructed. Of course, in detail, I will back to these issues. Shire campus, almost 90% is destructed, and Adwa Textile campus is 100% distracted. And again, we had 2 satellites in Humora and Maigaba. Currently, they are under the invading forces. Generally, the mission of the university, as per the Ministry of Education, which is teaching, research and community service, as well as university industry linkage and technology transfer. We are, or we have a vision of to top 10 our target, and we were trying our best. Currently, we are back. Our motto is excellence, perseverance, as we are generation and in structure, as well as the current there are the structure. We do have a president, vice president for research and community service, 1 vice president, and for administrative issues. I belong to the 3rd one for the research and community service vice president office. Generally, we have 6 colleges and 2 institutes. Our center of excellence is archaeology and tourism. We have the Aksum University of Technology, which includes both the engineering and the IT faculties and the textile. And we have Faculty of Agriculture, which is located in Shire, College of Business Economics, Education and Behavioral Science, and Natural Computational Science, and Social Science and Language. They are situated on the main campus. And again, we have the Health Science campus, it's a separate campus. So when we have, or let me say a few words about the war in Tigray. So because there was an intentional and systematic acts done by the Ethiopian National Defense Force, by the Amhara forces, particularly the informal soldiers, as well as the Eritrean National Eritrean Defense Forces. Following this war, as per the IOM in 2000 only, there were about 1.7 million displaced people. However, this number is expected to increase as again in the second round the war, a lot of people were again forced to leave, particularly from the western part of Tigray, as well as some parts of southern eastern Tigray. And till now, the updated data, more than 1 million people remained displaced, particularly those who displaced from the western part of Tigray, eastern part of Tigray, because more than 50 or 52 to 54 Kabyles are already under the Eritrean force again. So considerable people is again remained not back to their home. On average, more than 500,000 civilians are killed. This is a study was done by the Ghent University. Of course, it may reach up to 800,000. And it is estimated again about 120,000 female are raped. Of course, 1/3 of the area is again under the invasion forces, and a lot of districts are not again included. But as per the studies of the Health Bureau of the region, around 120,000 are victims. And even they fail to speak the truth. So there could be more victims again, as due to the culture of the society, they can't easily speak out their problems. So they are facing a lot of problems, particularly, by the way, they are in a critical psychological trauma. A lot of families are now separated as they are facing this psychological problem as well as health problems. Generally, there was a deliberate looting and damage of infrastructure in almost, particularly in health and education services. The destruction was deliberate and damaged, and a lot of was again, of course, taken. And even in natural resources, as I said, the education system was among the targets. Currently, at this time, more than 100 from the 50,000 teachers in Tigray, about 15,000 of them are not available on duty, whether they are killed, they are disabled or displaced, as well as they change their profession. Because due to the siege, civil servants were already not able to get their salary, so they couldn't survive. A lot of teachers are already changing their profession. And currently, in about 110 IDPs, or 110 schools are already occupied by IDPs. As a result of this, 200,000 children are not, or they are out of school, as their school is occupied by the IDP. And as per the Ministry of Finance of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, it is expected to reconstruct, or it is expected to have a worth of 21.5 billion pounds to reconstruct the damage. It is believed that about 28 billion dollar of damages occurred in that one. So in the coming 5 years, the government of Ethiopia needs about 21.5 billion pound to reconstruct this damage. So when you see some photographs or to show to what extent that war was deadly, this is the killing of an innocent child by ENDF forces. You can see from her face that she is enjoying killing this child. So the intent was, that is why we call it genocide. The intent was to eliminate this society, and it was deliberately done. This is a simple photograph or sample photograph. There are a lot of evidences already dispatched. And as I said earlier, the schools were the first target. So the schooling system in Tigray looks like this during the war, even after the war. Because in some of them, almost completely, the desks are looted. They are taken to Eritrea. So they are empty. There is no blackboard, there is no chair, there is no desk, there is no stationery at all. So this is what our children are now facing currently. So let's back to the effect of this deadly war on Aksum University, really what we face as an academicians and as an institution. Aksum University generally, in all admissions, whether it is undergraduate or postgraduate, we do have, or we had about 24,000, or we were enrolling about 24,000 in 3 of admissions, regular, extension, as well as summer. We had about 71 undergraduate programs and 35 postgraduate programs that are highly related to research workers. So being the research work is again affected, the program is completely collapsing. However, as of 2021 July to 2022, there was no admission at all. As I said earlier, the budget, there was budget cutoff, there was a siege, so there wasn't any communication at all with the Ministry of Education. Following the peace agreement on Pretoria, already Aksum University, that is from the scratch, by the way. Our almost 100% of the main office is completely distracted and looted. Even we didn't have any paper at all for printing or to write a letter. Already we began from the scratch. With a lot of efforts, with the commitment of the staff, a crash program was resumed on July 2023, and we were able to graduate about 1,161 students. After 3 years, that means they were graduating batch. Well, now, before 2 weeks, the normal program is resuming on 26th November. We are expecting about 4,000 students, almost 3,500 from our, but the rest are from other universities. And by the way, those who are graduated, as well as those who are attending, are only those 2 Tigrayans that were denied access to education for the last 3 years, because there is no any placement of students, new students. Regarding the teaching staff, active staff in Aksum University, we do have about, or we had about 1,683 staff, of course, with a lot of expatriates, and 50% of them were female. However, currently it declines to 1,591. There is a lot of turnover. I will, of course, turnover. A lot of staff is leaving, particularly the health professionals. Almost a lot of experienced health professionals and lecturers from other departments are. So to support this teaching staff, we have about 2,188 supporting staff and about 148 academic staff that they were suffering a lot during that war. When we see specifically what damages occurred in Aksum University, the first issue is material damage. As I said, during the 2-year war, Aksum University has sustained a huge material damage that is intentionally destroyed, looted, and negligibly misappropriated. The total material damage is expected to be about 49.39 million pounds, which needs about 130 million pounds for replacement, because currently the market price or the inflation is highest in Ethiopia, so it is not easy to replace these materials. Particularly in this deliberate damage, laboratory machineries and facilities were targeted. A lot of them were looted, taken, and the rest are already deliberately damaged, that are most of them are now non-functional. Again, the university faced about 90 million pounds of financial loss, whether from the grant as well as from the internal revenue, because there are a lot of businesses. We don't have students. Already we serve as a consultancy, that is community service, as well as others. So we face about 90 million pound financial loss. As a result of this year, again, tens of thousands of the community were denied from this health service. So the hospital again lost service, particularly the children and the mothers were the major victims. And following that war, the gender-based violence victims were again mainly affected by this because they couldn't get any service at all, whether counseling service as well as other medical treatments. Aksum University were again trying to expand in a lot of in all of campuses. There were a lot of constructions, and we face about 92 million pound in this construction and related sector again. These are the samples of how the offices are damaged. You can see that how they broken the door and how they damage the offices at all. So a lot of documents are already, we lost a lot of documents. This is 100% in every office, by the way. If an office is closed, let alone office, even toilets were broken. They assume that there could be something in toilets. So 100% of door in Aksum University is broken, damaged. Most of them are not non-repairable. They are not in a repairable status because already on the to break the key already again they damaged it here around here. So this is the main target. These are the sample damaged equipment. As you can see here, this is a new photocopy machine, but the screen is already. So that is why we call it. It was a deliberate. They don't want to take this one, but they broke this one. And this is how the computers are routed. Particularly, they took the accessories, by the way, the RAM and the hard disks, because they are portable. They can take it in their pocket. So they were the deliberate damage. This is a sample. And we can get again by a lot of messages on Aksum University's wall, what they wrote, the military. By the way, Aksum University was a camp. 2 times in 2 rounds invasion or war. It was the military base for the Ethiopian National Defense Force. You see here, it says Aksum University President Bureau, at the office of the Aksum University President Office, we get nothing except the food for the Wayana, that we call laborers. So we get nothing left, or they left nothing good. The second one is already you can read this one. It's English version. የትግሬ ቀማላም መቼም የኢትዮጵያ መዥገር ነው። ቆይ ትግሬ ዋጋ እንሰጠዋለን. That says the Tigrayans are the louse. They are tick for the Ethiopia. You know, tick is a parasite animal that seeks blood, and that the Tigrayans have to pay for this. These are simple words. There are more taboo words, by the way, a lot of taboo words in every corner of the offices, dormitories, as I said, it was camp, dormitories, as well as classrooms. So the university was, by the way, facing a lot of challenges to paint these walls again, to resume the education, because every class is already, and dormitories are already with this, particularly in classrooms, because you cannot teach well with such information, because it may divert their attention too. Even Aksum University was among the targets of this indiscriminate shelling. This is the dormitory, by the way. So in both rounds or 2 rounds, there was a shelling. So this is a sample of the dormitories, how they affect the university. Again, we can take some samples of the Salakhalaha Research Demonstration Center. We do have a research demonstration in Salakhalaha, which is 30 kilometers from Aksum. This is a dairy farm, which was established before the war. It was tested, that is going to be operational. And we had again another poultry farms. But for example, you can take this one. This is before the war was installed. Now we left only with a barrel. Everything is taken. We had again feed mill, animal feed mill. It is completely looted again. So it was a terrible destruction. This is again the first coverage of that center, Salakhalaha Research Center. We had here the dairy farm, as well as the apiculture, honey production, and others. This was the first coverage before the war. By the way, this center was a base for Eritrean forces, particularly a person known as General Simrach. However, after 2 years, the center looks like this. It is completely devastated. The forest, particularly the bush, are completely cut off, and most of them are uprooted. they cannot easily revive again. So you can see the difference. To what extent the war affects even the natural resources. This is an example for the rest of Ethiopia, by the rest of Tigray, by the way. So it's similar in other parts of Tigray, the forest coverage. As again, of course, it is affected again being due to the siege, being there was no electricity. People are again forced to use the forest products as a source of fuel and charcoal. The second is human loss. Generally, already, as I mentioned earlier, more than 60 or around 100,000 of people are already killed, civilians. And Aksum University is not different from that. Already, we are a victim again. So as a university, about 12 of our staff are killed by Ethiopian National Defense Force, as well as by the Eritrean Defense Force. 4 of them are killed by the Eritrean Defense Force, and the rest 8 are by the Ethiopian Defense Force. By the way, 2 of them killed on the November 28th Aksum massacre, that hundreds of youths were killed, and 2 of our staff killed at that time. Already, they was killed in front of their parents and their families. And there was a forced disappearance. Typically, one of our staff was taken to Eritrea and later back to Addis Ababa. And there was starvation, as there was no salary for 2 years. So we already, the whole staff faced starvation. Until now, by the way, we didn't get our salary of 12 months. That is in Ethiopian calendar 2014, I think 21, 22. That is why it is a deliberate. As an example, I didn't get for about my 12 months salary. And a lot of staff is in debt because they at that time, they were not able to pay their house rent, and they purchase, being there was a salary, they purchase or they borrow food items. So a lot of staff is in debt. However, the government till now fails to give us our salary. Though Aksum University is accountable to the federal government. It is not accountable to the regional government, by the way. We are accountable to the Minister of Education. We are accountable to the federal government. But till now, we didn't get the salary. The war again affects the second mission of the university, that is research and publication. As most of our grant is from the center, that is from Ministry of Education, we try to work as much as possible in different schemes and programs. Annually, we are able to get about 500,000 pounds, but for the last 2 years, till last year, we are not able to get this one. So the research activities are completely damaged. As a result of this, our collaboration was again collapsed. We had a lot of international collaborations with Frederick Alexander University of Germany, with Groningen University of Spain, with Ornadia University of, I think, in Romania, with Van Halser University of the Netherlands. We had again with reform programs African universities, and with SOAS University of London. And Dr. Romina is a witness for that. One of our program already shifted to the central part of Ethiopia. And again, we had good relationships in the field of, particularly in archaeology, with Canada, Germany, as well as African initiatives. It is not only international relations collapsed, again, the national collaboration is collapsed. Our consultancy program services are completely collapsing. As a result of this, all conferences were interrupted, whether national, institutional, international, as well as forums and public lectures. And following this, our visibility in the international community is declining because our staff were not able to participate in such conferences and to produce or to publish their research outputs. If you see, for instance, the trend of Aksum University in reputable journal, that is Scopus, we were improving our visibility. However, after the war, already we sharply declined. So the work highly affects the visibility of the university also. And similarly, the third mission is the community service of the university, as well as university industry linkage and technology transfer. We do have a mission to give health services, free legal services for those who are voiceless, particularly for those who are disabled, females and others who cannot afford to the service. We have a lot of campaigns when there are a lot of outbreaks, whether it could be health problems or others. Again, we provide a lot of trainings. We have Shine Share program, and we try to transfer again the technologies. So due to this one, a lot of demanding community service activities were not implemented. There was no consultant service at all, and there wasn't any university industry linkage as well as technology transfer. As a result of this, the societal programs were not addressed. So the last is how the war affects the religion, and particularly the area where I came is from center of Christianity, where the dominant people is an Orthodox. So, of course, some of you know these issues. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church in Addis Ababa did not openly condemn by the government's political position and the war. Even Abuna Matthias was under house arrest as well as was restricted from speaking, though he was trying to disseminate his say via recording that there was a genocide was being committed by Tigray. However, his statement was completely rejected and openly criticized by other members of the synod as well as some bishops. So this was highly affecting the issues in Tigray. So the war was even blessed by some religious leaders, and even there was hate speech by bishops, which the people of Tigray was highly affected or psychologically damaged. From prominent Orthodox adherents is Daniel Kibret, who is a diacon as well as is a social advisor to the prime minister. And he was well known to disseminate hate speeches, including how they can eliminate the Wayana, or what they call is the enemy. And even he took an example of the Tasmania that was happened in 1852 in Australia, how they are. So even the issue was being this person is a reputable person in the Orthodox Church, that is who runs Mahbar al-Lisan for a long period of time. So the people of Tigray this time didn't feel comfortable when a lot of such people are speaking such hate speeches. As a result of this and others, thousands of people, thousands of Tigrayan were arbitrarily arrested and sent to concentration camps throughout Ethiopia, including all university academicians. A lot of bishops and iconic leaders were speaking very, very hateful speeches at that time. Among them, this one is Abba Mikael, who says that Satan እግዚአብሔር ያከብራል, ጁንታ ከሚገዛን ሰይጣን ቢገዛን ይሻላል. Already Satan, I think, obeyed. Sorry for the if I failed to translate it properly. Obeyed to God. It would be better to obey by Satan than to be obeyed by the junta, because junta was a level, the name that was given by the prime minister to the people as well as to the others. But already being the people is categorized as junta at that time. Every Tigrayan was called as junta. The people was not able to discriminate or to differentiate who is junta or non-junta. Everybody was, because there was a lot of hate speeches. So following this deadliest war, there were loss of countless lives, including priests, diacons. There was destruction of historical churches, artifacts, manuscripts, and there was again shelling, including Debre Dam. By the way, there was a deliberate looting again. Some of you may be way familiar that some of the manuscripts or artifacts were sold in the eBay at that time. Of course, later due to campaign, already stopped. However, the church in Addis Ababa fails to denounce this one. This is an example of Chorkos Church in Zalambesa. This is a sample of mass grave in Aksum that was happened on November 28. However, the church fails to denounce these issues. As a result of this, the Tigrayan or the Orthodox in Tigray asked the church in Addis Ababa to protect the civilians, to denounce these brutalities committed in Tigray, that are by the Ethiopian National Defense Force, the Eritrean Defense Force, as well as the FANO. Otherwise, it will threaten to split from the Holy Synod in Addis Ababa. There was a lot of messes. Following this, it was culminated in the beginning of the Tigray Orthodox Church. Until now, it is not solved. So Tigray Orthodox Church established its own church, that is Aaksum University, and its seat is now in Aksum. So the war heavily affected the religion, particularly in Tigray, as it is dominated by the Orthodox. As Tigrayans, we lost hope from the church, because as adherents, we need a protection. However, the bishops in the center were not able to protect us or even to pray for us. Even they failed to speak few words that they are with us, because ethnicity couldn't be a criteria for a religion. If I'm a follower of that religion, from where I am is not a question. So they have to give a protection to all of them. So it is highly affecting the church. However, it is not only by the Orthodox, by the way. Even the Catholic and the Islam is, even the evangelical were facing such problems. So they are not reaching to this splitting or separation. But the Cardinal of Ethiopia again ignored to desperate calls from the Bishop of Tigray, who warned him to devastating genocidal war. Even influential Islamic leaders in Ethiopia were supporting. Even, by the way, they failed to condemn or to denounce the shelling of Al-Najashi Mosque. Al-Najashi is the second holiest place for the Islams. However, today, some of these persons are denouncing the shelling of or the devastating war in Israel, only supporting the religion, not other facts. However, they fail to protect the Muslims that are found in Tigray. This clearly shows us beyond the religion, there was a political agenda. The Tigrayans were deliberately affected. This is the church of the mosque of Negash, and it was deliberately damaged, but the church, the religious leaders of the Muslims failed to denounce even at that time. So generally, the deadliest war affects the religion in Tigray, particularly the Orthodox ones. They are losing hope at this time. So what could be the solution, way forward? So in terms of the university, as well as in terms of the religion, I will try to say few words. As I said, due to the stage already, our communications are completely broken or collapsed. So one thing what we have to do is renewing memorandum of understanding with different international institutions, universities, particularly with those who had a previous relation, and even searching for others. And this one is, by the way, almost it's part of that one. We are trying to reconnect with the institutions. And second is resuming conferences. At least we have to tell the community and the people where we are at this time. What really we need as a community and as Aksum universities. So we are trying again to resume a lot of conferences at national as well as international level, and developing proposals. As I said, the university as well as other sectors are completely damaged. So we have to search to funds or collaborative work. So we have to develop a lot of proposals. Of course, it's going to be related to the following one, that is securing funds. We have to search again for funds, whether it is in kind or it is in cash, whether what could it be. because almost in every aspect already we face a lot of problems. And the last is revitalizing the relationship, whether it is from the religion, whether it is from the other community. As personally, as community, there is not any problem. The community at the ground or at the grassroots level didn't have any problem. The problem is from the political elites. So we have to work on these conciliation programs. But it shouldn't be a fascial. It should be a functional. It shouldn't be for the sake of political gains. It should be really to solve the problems, to make and to neutralize the problems. So when we are talking about this reconciliation, the issue of accountability should be clear again. Those who engage in such problems should be accountable. It shouldn't be for the sake of words, because what we are really now experiencing is it's more of artificial, because the peace agreement is till now not implemented in Tigray. The people is not back to their home till now, particularly those who are in the western part. Even there are no talks within the community. There isn't any efforts that are done by the government to make such reconciliation program. So the reconciliation program should be from the heart of the people, and it should be functional. By the way, when I'm talking about the issue of accountability, you know that the International Commission of Human Rights Experts in Ethiopia, they are at this time already, their function is stopped. However, if a neutral organization investigates where the problem is, there could be a room to revitalize the relations, whether it is from the government as well as from the community, and including even the religion. But it should be with a clear mind and honest heart. So it needs a real compensation again. The compensation should be real. We have to compensate the community that are affected by this one. And we have to work more on the rehabilitation schemes. This is all what I have. Thank you very much.
I'm going to stop the recording now so that we can have an open conversation for those who might not want to speak out on camera.